Hey, how we doing? Can you guys hear me? Hey, all right. This is it. This is a big moment. 2 years, and there's been Januaries and stuff, but no like Spotify or anything in that time. So we got a new song coming out tonight. New song, new video. It's like a lyric video, but it's like kind of a lyric video on crack. It's a little more fun. It's most of the way to a real music video, I think. The money suit. This suit is going to be featured prominently in this album cycle. So we got 30 minutes till the music video comes out, and the song as well, at least in Eastern time. And what I wanted to do with that time is, if anyone has any questions or anything, I can answer those. I'm going to be here looking at the chat, but I wanted to chat just about the process of getting from Paperman and New Laces to Stay at Home Pop Star, how that happened, and just sort of hang out for 30 minutes here. And then I think the way that this works, if my understanding is correct, we've got a live redirect set up. So like about a minute or two before midnight, I'll hit end stream here, and everyone should be automatically redirected to the music video premiere. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't happen, you can pop over there, obviously manually. I'll get a link just in case for a backup. Boom. So there's the link to the music video. That's going to be out in about 27 minutes. But again, when I end this stream a couple minutes before, it should live redirect, or it should automatically redirect to the music video. Yeah. Cool. Cool. How's everybody feeling? Where's everybody from? I know what time of day everyone's awake watching this thing. It's 11:30 p.m. here, Eastern Time, Toronto. I'm going to wait a couple minutes. I'll wait till maybe 11:35, let a couple people stream in, and then I'm just going to kind of talk about how we got to Stay at Home Pop Star from the last Ottawa. We'll talk about how we got to Stay at Home Pop Star from the last releases, Paperman and New Laces, and a little bit what happened in between there. Hey, Stephanie. So, yeah, I'll answer that before I go off and chat about my own stuff. I want to give people a couple minutes to come in. So the new music video, I don't want to tell you too much about. So the deal is, I'm going to let everyone get their own first impression from it. I posted a couple teasers, 4:30 a.m. I posted a couple teasers to the video, so you've seen a couple clips of it, but not enough, I don't think, to get a full idea of what's going to happen in it. So I'm going to let everyone get their own first impression of it. There is an album coming out. It's going to be out sometime later in the year, probably September-ish. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 singles and music videos and remixes and artwork and all kinds of fun stuff before the album properly comes out, but that'll be out later in the year. It's called Stay at Home Pop Star. And sort of the overall idea for Stay at Home Pop Star was like a fun, like playful bit of music for the apocalypse. I feel like I don't need to explain that any further. For me, the most depressing thing about making this whole album is the idea. The Stay at Home Pop Star title was the first thing that I landed on. I was all bummed out in December of 2018. I was like, I'm not getting shows. Like, I'm not just going to be like at home for the rest of my career, like putting stuff on the internet. And so that was the idea of the Stay at Home Pop Star thing. And then, wrote the album for a full year. That was 2018. So all of 2019, I was working on the album, and it was mostly done like by the start of 2020. And it was just like doing final details and stuff. I even filmed a video for one of the songs in December of 2019. And then, of course, COVID happens, and the entire public perception of this whole stay-at-home pop star project is completely shifted forever. And now it seems like, a thing that's reactive to the COVID situation. But in fact, I just work very slowly, I guess. I don't know. Grimes takes like 4 years to make an album, so I'm not worried. The Beatles did like one a year. I do one every 2 years, halfway between Grimes and the Beatles. Yeah, the stay-at-home pop star thing, yeah, totally changed. Totally changed. So that's unfortunate. There's actually taking inspiration from hip-hop stuff. I got a couple skits for the album, just like little bumpers between tracks and stuff, just to like add a little bit of chaos and a little bit of break. And one of them was like a future news, like a newscast from the future. And I wrote this early on in the album cycle. I think it was like early in 2019. I wrote this future news sketch. And I'd been reading a lot of like Reddit futurology and collapse Reddit and stuff. And so I was just going to make this like post-apocalyptic newscast from the future as a bumper for the album. And all of it's come true, like everything. I even predicted a global pandemic. I called it El Paso virus. I expected it to start in the migrant camps, because that was a prediction that was kind of floating around, like when you cram a bunch of people together, like in unsanitary conditions. Anyway, so I made a bunch of like horrible predictions for the future, and all of them have come true more or less. So I have to scrap that entirely, and I'll try to rewrite something. Maybe I'll make some good predictions this time, and hopefully those will come true. Define music that you're satisfied with your voice on. Yeah, so Derek's question there, finding music that I was satisfied with my voice on. So the process, like basically going into this thing, I'm going to pull up my notes because this ties into what I was going to sort of say about the album. When I was working on, like after Clear came out and after the New Laces EP came out, I was sort of in this place where I was getting top liners to write on stuff like traditional pop style stuff. So I would produce a track and then send it out to some singers, and maybe someone would come back, and then every so often I'd get one. When I had about 6, I'd do an EP of them. And so I would go to LA and do some sessions and get a bunch of people, like 2 sessions a day for a week or 2. Have some people come and do sessions. And I was sort of like, after Clear kind of popped off, I felt like, okay, cool, I've done that. Like, it was never my lifelong goal to like have a pop hit, get in the algorithm on Spotify. That's not a goal of mine, really. So I was like, cool, that's happened. I don't have to prove that I can do that. So any semblance of chasing a pop thing that's like short-term gain for me, I'm not really concerned about. And so in the sessions that I was doing, I'd go out to LA, or I'd have sessions in Toronto or wherever. I was always kind of like, cool, this is like a pop song, but let's like push it into some different territory and make it like, subversively about something else even. So it can still sound like a pop song. All We Can Do on the Paperman EP with Angeli is a really good example of something like that. Like, it's about mass shootings, but we dressed it up very subversively to sound like any other pop song, like use all the conventions and make it sound just like a pop song. And it didn't do as well. I was hoping it would be like Pumped Up Kicks or something and like go off and be a massive smash hit and pay my bills for the rest of my life and let me focus on my art. It didn't happen that way, but it got a few 100,000 plays or something like that. But what I came away with was that was too subtle. I wanted to make things that were obvious, something that anyone could listen to and be like, cool, got it. I understand what this is about. And then make the music like a fun journey. It's fun to listen to. It's whatever. And so in the pop sessions, I would try to push the songs into being something more subversive or something different. And it wasn't really happening. Like, pop singers are kind of like, I feel like the top line world for a lot of artists is like singers kind of use that to get started and producers kind of use that to get started before they go off and do something that is more unusual maybe, or something that is very like their brand. And so a lot of artists are happy to do that. It's just kind of like middle of the road pop stuff. But then if you want to write a ridiculous song about climate change or something, like a pop singer is going to be a lot less apt to take a risk on something that's like one song for them. And so it became apparent to me that if I wanted to do this weirder, ridiculous, literal music, that I was going to have to use my own voice. So I was forced into that. Not that I regret it. Just so that I could say the things in a song that I felt like were worth saying. Yeah. So I was, I'm not a singer. I don't consider myself a singer. I have a voice. I can use it. And I have been. I'm definitely producing my voice. But it was definitely a process of like just doing it, just writing a bunch of songs, and seeing what kind of came out and what worked and what didn't, and just trying all kinds of stuff. Like there's lots of vocal techniques. And just drawing on everything, like listening to early Red Hot Chili Peppers and having Anthony Kiedis, do that like da 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 da, sort of like rapping with a vocal fry thing. Just trying that, trying normal type singing where you're just sustaining a note, trying like a screaming off the top of your head, kind of throwing notes away, wild pitch stuff. Just trying everything, see what sticks, see what doesn't. And some of it made it into the album, and some of it didn't make it into the album. But that process was definitely just like, I have to use my voice here if I want to do the things musically that I want to do. And so I just have to find a way to make my voice sound good. Fortunately, I can already produce. So if I can get my voice like even part of the way, then I can get it the rest of the way with production. So, yeah. And another vehicle for that was January. Obviously, this January was aggressive with the vocals. Last year, I was definitely doing vocals more. And then the first year I did it in 2019 was the first time I ever did vocals on anything of my own. There were a couple, I think maybe 3 tracks out of the 31 that had any kind of vocals on them. And then last year I was doing a lot more vocals and trying all kinds of stuff. And then this year obviously was mostly vocal based. Opinion on, I don't know, is that, when I saw this comment there, opinion on, and then a bunch of symbols, why was my first thought like Grimes's child's name? Just for Derek here to make sure I get your point here. For a while, I've been struggling writing songs that fit my voice. I write songs that could fit a Charlie Puth-like pop voice, while I have more of a Nick Murphy. Ooh, I don't know any of those singers. I don't listen to any of those people. I've heard of Charlie Puth. I get that he's kind of a pop guy. I would say, like, if you're trying to find a place for your voice and it doesn't sound right, or like it doesn't fit the conception of what you think your voice fits, I mean, my first instinct would be to just do stuff and like kind of try to throw away or put out of your head any idea of what is normal. Let's get center here. Juggling a million windows. All right. Yeah, I mean, without hearing this stuff, I'm not going to be able to give any, super specific feedback about those people. But like, you can use any voice in any kind of way. Like, people come to music with an expectation, and one of the most important ways to get people's attention and interest them in what you're doing is to work with their expectations in a way that is surprising and new. So if you have one type of voice and they expect something from you, then you can either deliver that thing, or both of those are equally valid pursuits. But yeah, it's definitely like, it's such a personal thing to be like, I think my voice is like this, but I kind of want to do this. So I personally have the same issue. I write songs out of my vocal range. It just feels wrong to change the key. I haven't dealt with that too much. I mean, I can't give you tremendously good feedback about how to use your voice. You know, it's a personal thing, and it's going to take experimentation. And there's certainly a long list of pop singers who like have quotes floating around about how they thought they could never make it because they weren't XYZ enough. And so I feel like those ideas of, oh, I'm kind of like this, but then this is like, it's totally toxic and damaging to constantly be comparing yourself to the point that like, is my voice timbre, is my voice tone right for this thing? Because you can just do stuff, and the power of you doing it creates a world for that thing to exist. So, I mean, if it really doesn't make sense to your ears, then you can't. That's going to be a lot harder. But I'd say, you know, just keep making stuff. There's nothing for it but to make stuff. Like, you can only do so much to change your voice, and you can only do so much to change what you like to make and what you like to listen to. And so you have to work with that. Sorry. Anyway, that's been a big lesson for me, definitely, is like, I've just got this voice, and I'm not like a singer, and I don't know how to change it. So I just have to use it. And so I do. And maybe people will hate my vocals. We're going to find out in like 13 minutes if people are going to hate my vocals. But yeah, that was definitely a huge part of this thing, is like, at this point, like, the album is almost done. There's a few little things on a few songs. 7 of them are mastered, 4 of them aren't. At this point in the process, I know that it feels to me like I should be talking about doing my own vocals and writing my own lyrics for the first time as like a big selling feature for this album, but it's gone so far out of my head from doing it so much that I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Like, when I started doing the vocals for myself and writing lyrics for myself, I was very concerned about, like, is this something that can exist? Is this something that anyone will care about? But I just had to put that out of my head and do it, because if I didn't, then it wasn't going to happen ever. But yeah, that was one of the big early challenges with putting this album together. 12 minutes to go. How's everybody doing? 12 minutes. Good Lord. So this song I wrote, the idea, again, so coming out of these sessions was like, I want to write songs that are literal. I want to write songs that are easy to understand, but still like a fun journey, but just like very clear, and have a clear idea behind them. And then, you know, make the production and make the sound of them like musically good and fun and all that good stuff. But just try to come up with a coherent idea for each song and have each one be its own little world within this larger coherent album. I feel like I've accomplished that. I honestly can't wait to share this song and see how everyone responds to it, and then share the rest of the songs, because they're all pretty different. They're all pretty different. This is easily the most pop, like the most normal song on the whole album, but they're all quite different. And so I'm interested to see, like, everyone's going to hear this one and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of what he's doing now. But then everyone's going to hear the next one and be like, oh, okay, that's pretty different from the first one. And then everyone's going to hear the third single and be like, this is not like the other ones. And then everyone will hear the next single and be like, what is this album going to be? So I'm just excited to see it all unfold. How are we doing here? Smooth streaming. Am I cutting out? Pause for a second. So anyway, that was kind of the idea. It's just like, I was tired of pop songs. I think there was a Justin Bieber song on the radio a lot then, and I remember listening to it and thinking, like, I know this song is simple. It's like a simple pop song. I have no idea what this is about. I could not tell you. Like, you hear a song on the radio and stuff, and it's like, it's catchy or whatever, and the melody gets in your head, which is what they want, because they want to sell units and all that and get it in playlists and have it play at parties, and it has to, you know, fit a certain pop thing, so it it can fit into people's lives. But I just like couldn't understand what they were about. Like it was too coded in metaphor, and it didn't get it, and it didn't say anything to me, and it didn't resonate with me. And I know that music can be anything. So the idea was just to write fairly literal lyrics that just sort of cut through that bullshit of like songwriting conventions and like metaphor and making everything clever and secret and subtle, and like Max Martin's like vocal, what does he call it? It's like vocal math or something, where like every consonant has to be like parallel to every verse so that they all line up and mirror each other. It's just so silly, and it's such bullshit. And I just wanted to be like, I just want to say a thing because I feel like it should be said. And I feel like I can use what I know about music for evil to sneak in messages subversively, the way that people have done for centuries. If you take a history class on music, you'll know that like Good Golly Miss Molly, subversive. Rock and roll, subversive. The title of this genre, rock and roll, is sex. Jazz comes from the word jizz. Like it's all totally subversive, just so you know, just so you can sneak in all kinds of ridiculous stuff. Like the Flume album cover just looks like a pattern, like a symmetrical circle pattern. And if you zoom way in on it, it's like a topless woman, and just nobody realized it. And Flume tweeted one day, like it got to #1 somewhere or something. And he was like, hey, we got nudity, like publicly broadcast at #1. So it's just, you know, people are just fucking around and stuff. But I just wanted to make stuff that was like, I want to say a thing and I want to make it clear. And I want to cut through the bullshit of like trying to be cool and trying to be like this pop thing and trying to have a brand, and just write a goddamn song that people get, that sounds good and is fun. And I can use all the little psychological tricks about pop music to, you know, make it catchy or make it sort of quasi fit into that realm. But then I'm never going to fit into that realm. I'm never going to like fit and belong in that pop world. So I'm just going to embrace that. I'm going to steal what good little psychological tricks they've come up with. Melodic math, that's Max Martin's trick. And I'm going to use it for my own evil means to make songs about whatever I want to make. So this song, which is going to premiere in 7 minutes, oh my God, was written in, I think, March of 2019. Was the demo, was the first verse and the chorus, and I think the post-chorus was all done in about 3 hours, which is depressing because then it takes, 2 years to finish and get all mastered and everything. But this, I think, was the second demo. The second single that you're going to hear in 6 to 8 weeks is the first demo that I wrote back in March or April of 2019. Yeah, 2019. And then this was the second one. So I wrote the first one and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. This could be like a good kind of theme thing for the album. And then I wrote the one that you're about to hear second. And I was like, oh yeah, this locks in with the first one. We've got a theme for an album here. And then it just developed into this post-apocalyptic, like quasi science fiction, quasi post-apocalyptic, quasi everything's burning. I'm stuck on my phone and everything. But I wanted it to be fun too. So hopefully everyone appreciates that, it's about being on your phone all the time, and there's like addiction and rolled up in it. And there's kind of this heavy undercurrent of like, holy shit, we're all like, this is getting intense for us. But also that it's fun. I was a little disappointed by Grimes' last album, Miss Anthropocene. Has a tremendous title, one of the best album titles in recent memory, Miss Anthropocene. And she said it was going to be like, I forget what she said. It was like fun music or party music for the apocalypse. And it felt apocalyptic to me and not as fun. So I'm going to deliver, hopefully, with this album on Grimes' promise of fun music for the apocalypse. This is going to be just as shiny and colorful and musically ridiculous and melodic as my old stuff. I think it combines well the pop elements of the New Laces stuff and the Paperman stuff with the heavy production of that, but also the like musical weirdness of my early SoundCloud stuff. And then hopefully also go beyond that to something completely new with my own vocals and lyrics. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be so much depressing. Like, you certainly hear about really difficult times in history where people say things like our sense of humor was the thing that got us through. So the only thing I could liken this album to is just like a meme about climate change. Because, you know, every horrible thing that happens, people are making memes about. And so the sense of humor, I think, is just so crucial. And I hope that I've brought that to this. In some way, you know, the artwork is fun, the video is fun. This is more of a straight ahead pop song. There's a very obvious musical surprise, and I can't wait for you all to hear it. I've teased a few audio clips from this video, but not one thing. So I'm just interested for everyone to hear it. It's definitely not a perfectly straight ahead pop song, obviously. It's going to be a little kooky. But yeah, good Lord, 3 minutes. So yeah, at this point, the album's mostly done. A lot of it's mastered. The artwork is almost all done. I think it's all done unless we get any new stuff for stuff that happens throughout the year. And the videos are all mostly done. Obviously, this one is done. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say in advance. So what's going to happen now is when I end the stream, everyone should automatically be redirected to the video premiere. I'm posting the link to the video premiere in the chat here. So if it doesn't work, you can follow that, or you can open another tab, or it should be linked very easily on my YouTube channel if this doesn't work. But what should happen is I should end the stream and everyone should be automatically redirected over to the video. Cool? You can watch the video there. There's going to be a little countdown. After the video, at 5 minutes past, the song is about 3 minutes long. At 5 minutes past, I'm going to go live again. It's going to be a separate thing. I haven't seen how this exactly looks from your end of the thing, but I will be live again. There's a scheduled live stream that starts at 12:05 a.m. My time Friday, which is 5 minutes after midnight, 7 minutes from now. So I'm going to be back live. And if you would like to come join me, I've made some notes here on my end, and I'm just going to chat about the song and talk about some of the fun stuff in the video, how it all came to be. But there you have it. So I'll end the stream in a second here. Everyone should be redirected. And then after, if you'd like to come back, I'm going to chat about the video a little bit. It's great to see everyone here. I hope you all enjoy my new song and video, I Could Give It Up, about being on my phone too much. I hope I haven't killed you all with promo over the last 3.5, 4 weeks. Yeah. All right. I'm going to end stream. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll be back in a few minutes.